What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing tonight's game between the Chicago Bulls and Houston Rockets, and of course, this is my Bulls report. Now, the Chicago Bulls are coming into this game after a more, I'm not going to say surprising, but one of the wins that I think could be carried on into some momentum to give them the boost that they need to move into the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference playoff play-in race, and that was against the Denver Nuggets in their last game. So the Bulls coming out still on the road against a Houston Rockets team who gave them trouble in their previous matchup. Of course, the Bulls did go up in that game at one point, but ultimately ended up losing. But again, at this stage of the season, we're in the tail end where, teams are looking for a way to push and get that playoff run. And it's no better way than to face off against a team that, in my opinion, yes, the Bulls are more talented than, but you cannot overlook any NBA team, honestly. Now, again, like I said, with the Houston Rockets, their young core that consists of guys like Kevin Porter Jr., Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Alperi Sengun, and guys like that. It's really a young core ever since they got rid of all the vets and things like that. And as far as Chicago, Billy Donovan elected to go with the usual five ever since the trade, and not the trade, but the acquisition of Patrick Beverley at the point guard position to go with Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and also Nikola Vucevic. Now, Vuce actually did get the first basket of the game. And what you saw early was a lot of physical play from both teams. Whether it was guys running down, not getting fouls, and the referees elected not to call fouls early. So you seen an early timeout from Billy Donovan to rein things in, so to speak. So you seen the Rockets' youth start showing off early. You seen DeMar DeRozan start to get to the rim. The Bulls were getting out on the break. The Rockets started to get into the paint. But you seen Zach LaVine looking like one of, in my opinion, one of the better players ever since the turn of All-Star break. And he was getting to the rim himself and having a good start. The Bulls were giving up open threes to the Houston Rockets. And the Rockets ended up going up by 9 at one point. Now, the Bulls did find themselves down by 10 after one, and that was 32-22. At the start of the second, again, more threes by the Houston Rockets. And you seen DeMar DeRozan start to get to his spots. And to my surprise, DeMar DeRozan, his three ball was falling. I'm not going to say at a high clip, but we know he don't take a lot. Now, the turnovers were hurting Chicago early. You did see Drummond get in off the bench and start to cause an impact to this game. Ever since the release of Goran Dragic, the Bulls have to look for other guys at the guard spot off the bench, more or less like Kobe and also Ayo Dosunmu. Now, you did see DeRozan start to come on in a second, but the Rockets kept getting their open threes. Zach LaVine was getting into the paint. Patrick Williams off the bench with some threes. You seen the Rockets it was basically a lot of shots from the perimeter that I think the Bulls could have ran some guys off of the three-point line and elected them to either pass or, get them to more or less shoot a two. Because it was just a lot of driving kick and the Rockets getting open threes in the first half of this basketball game. You seen Vucevic did add a three of his own at one point. Zach LaVine catch and shoot was on point. And the Rockets, every time the Bulls got close, it was the Rockets three that kept them pulling away in the first half. The Bulls did get out on a brick, and you seen a beautiful alley-oop completed by DeRozan to Zach LaVine. And at the half, the Bulls were down 55-54. And I told myself, I said, okay, after that first 24 minutes of basketball, if the Bulls can find a way to keep it this close throughout, the next 24, they have a chance to actually win this game come closing time. Now, in the third quarter, you did see DeMar DeRozan did get the first basket for Chicago. Zach LaVine was picking up where he left off, and the Rockets were still making threes. Now, DeRozan started getting to his spots and getting in the paint, the Rockets started to make really, really tough shots. And that one making most of the tough shots was Jalen Green. Not this rain on anything Jabari Smith was doing, but Jalen Green was the one that the Bulls had a hard time controlling in the third quarter. Now, Patrick Beverley, history started to fall. You seen Vucevic start to come on in the third. He had a really, really big third quarter. I believe at one point in the third quarter, Vucevic scored like 13 points. He had 5 at halftime. Now, you seen Patrick Beverley getting to the rim. The Rockets, but again, the Rockets' young core, they came to play. They have a team that's willing to go up and down, up and down, up and down. So the Bulls had to rein that in, so to speak, in the third quarter. Now, the Bulls were not guarding shooters again. You seen Zach LaVine get to the rim. And the three ball by the Houston Rockets was the story of quarters 1, 2, and 3. And the Bulls were down by 8 after 3. 87-95. Now, in the fourth quarter, this is where I basically looked at this game from this standpoint. I said, the Bulls have to find a way to win. I'm like, we know, young teams have a problem executing down the stretch. And that was what it was going to be, in my opinion. I thought, I'm watching it and I'm saying, I'm like, okay, if the Bulls can find a way to gut this game out, it would definitely have to be more or less on defense, getting stops and making shots. Defense, getting stops, making shots, and putting it all together. And it started on the defensive end. It actually started on the defensive end where the Bulls were just in front of the Rockets at every turn in the late stages of tonight's basketball game. In the second half, the Bulls did put up 32 points in the fourth and 33 in the third. And it was just a combination of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, guys like Patrick Beverley, Alex Caruso, and Vucevic in the paint. Because that's what ultimately led to the Bulls coming back in the basketball game first. Before they even got a chance to get the lead late in today's game, they got close enough to actually be able to compete with a team like Houston that we know they don't have the most vets. So their young guys crumble under pressure. And I feel like that's what happened. When you have a closer in DeRozan, you have a closer in LaVine, and those two are just, putting the pressure on your team, it ultimately leads to bad plays, mistakes, turnovers, and things like that. Pressure busts pipes. And I feel like the Bulls played it cool, more or less, than the Houston Rockets, and were able to actually gut this win out versus a team like Houston, like I said, who have young talent but are not able to put it together. And the Bulls did end up winning tonight's matchup by a final score of 119-111. The Chicago Bulls are now 31-36, knocking on the door of that last spot in the play-in tournament, that 10th spot. They're right there with Washington, I believe Washington is on the road versus Philadelphia in their next game, so I'm definitely interested to see how that pans out for them. You want to see the Chicago Bulls play a much better complete game like they did in their previous matchup. And they do have a few days off, and by a few, they do not play again until Wednesday, and that is against the Sacramento Kings, which is a tough out because we know how explosive those guys can be. But as I get into the box score tonight for Houston, their high man was Jabari Smith Jr. with 20 points and 10 rebounds. I believe there were 7 guys on Houston in double figures. And you look at Chicago, the high man for the game was Zach LaVine with 36, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Patrick Beverley with a double-double, 16 big points, 5 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Nikola Vucevic with another double-double, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. DeMar DeRozan with 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Alex Caruso with 5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals. Let's talk about Andre Drummond's production off the bench with 11 points, 5 rebounds. Aya Dosunmu, not really, his best outing. Did go 1 of 2 from 3. Did have 3 points for the game. Patrick Williams with 3. Kobe White did not score at all, but did have 3 assists. So again, the Chicago Bulls do gut out a win versus a team in the Houston Rockets and split the season series. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. Bulls fans, Rockets fans, or if you're just an NBA fan and this is just your first time tuning into the channel, don't forget to drop a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I catch you guys on the next video.